Welcome back to our I Have an Idea for a Novel, Now What series. This week, I wanted to take a moment to address what might just be the most important subject we address in this entire series: the idea of talent. Now, in our last installment, I encouraged you just to jump in, write a scene, any scene from any point in your book. You may have read that scene back to yourself and been really disappointed. You may have thought something along the lines of, I have no talent for writing. You may have even pulled out a book from your own collection of favorite authors, read through a few passages, and thought, clearly this person was simply born with something I do not have. I'm going to tell you right now, talent is a lie. Period. Talent does not exist. It is a fairy tale, but it's a dangerous one, a lie that keeps people from even trying. Here's the thing: every successful author, your favorite author, has been in the very same spot you're in now. And there is something that separates you from your favorite writer, but it's not talent, it's something else. Stick with me here as I explain why the thing your favorite author has is not talent, and I show you what it is they do have. Good news, it's something you can absolutely acquire, and it can transform your writing journey. I cannot emphasize enough just how dangerous I think the myth of talent is. I think talent has stopped more writers from pursuing their dreams than rejection letters, writer's block, and bad reviews combined. Look, we can expose the myth of talent in writing so easily, and it's because of this truth. Every single author has the same story, the story of years and years of rejection. I have one of those stories myself. Authors also have numbers. Many of them know exactly how many times they were rejected before they finally heard yes. Here's my number: 1,000. Now, admittedly, that is an estimate, but I do know that my first published book, A Blue So Dark, was rejected 86 times. I've kept the spreadsheets. That's 86 times. Now, with this book, I did get several requests to revise and resubmit. So, to kind of add insult to injury here, many of these were rejections from the same agents and editors. But back to the 1,000. I did spend 7.5 years writing and chasing that first yes, producing manuscript after manuscript, submitting, rewriting, submitting again. I lost track of how many manuscripts I wrote. I do know it was more than 10, and I do know 86 was pretty average for the number of rejections, so 1,000. It's a pretty fair guess. I share this story not because it's somehow extraordinary, just the opposite. I share this story because it is so incredibly common. But if talent existed, if it were real, no one would have this kind of story. Best-selling authors would say they got an idea for a book and simply sat down one day and started typing away. No one has that story, not one successful author, because talent does not exist. No one is born with a mysterious gift for language. So, what did these authors have? In a word, grit. That's it. The willingness to keep writing, even when they read back a drafted scene and thought, this is nothing like my favorite author's work. Talent is nothing more than practice, consistent effort, and refusing to quit when things get hard. That's it. That's the secret. That's what your favorite author has. It's what you can acquire. It is what you can do. I bet you're thinking, I hope she doesn't tell me I need 10,000 hours to get good at writing. That's the concept that was popularized by Malcolm Gladwell in his book Outliers, right? That it takes 10,000 hours of practice to become an expert at something. Look, I don't know that it literally takes 10,000 hours. I think it probably takes a lot less, when practice is deliberate and it takes place at a certain level. But I 100% agree that becoming proficient is about effort. It's interest plus the willingness to keep your rear in the seat and put in the work. I'd like to refer here to Carol Dweck. She's a psychologist who's done some work on mindset and how it relates to success. Speaking broadly here, she says that basically you can either have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. So, an individual with a fixed mindset is someone who believes ability, intelligence are something you're born with and they remain static during your lifetime, right? Individuals with a growth mindset believe the opposite, that any ability can be learned through hard work and just being willing to take criticism and failure and turn that around, learn from those experiences. So, right now, starting today, we're going to work on developing that growth mindset. We're going to kick the idea of talent to the curb. And starting today, we're going to talk to ourselves differently. Every time you feel a thought like, I'm no good at this, creep in, I want you to add one word to the end: now. I'm no good at this now. My dialogue stinks now. My characters are wooden now. But it won't stay that way. When it comes to writing, neuroplasticity is your friend. Research shows that our brains actually rewire themselves as we practice new skills. So every time you write a new scene, hopefully using my feels method for strong scenic writing, you're actually building neural pathways for the craft of story, for developing character, and for creating metaphors. That all sounds fine and good, but how do we practice? Now, this is so important because in order to grow, you need to develop habits of deliberate practice, not spinning your wheels practice. What I mean is, you need to constantly be striving to work just slightly beyond your current abilities. I believe that's where skills are built, that magic zone that's just ever so slightly outside your comfort zone. Don't make giant leaps. That's just going to leave you frustrated and angry. But if you are constantly reaching just a little farther than you're currently comfortable with, then you are engaging in that deliberate practice that does result in growth. In writing, this means writing regularly, even if you don't currently feel inspired, seeking feedback and actually applying it, reading in your genre with an analytical mind, studying the craft through books, courses, or workshops, and revising your work multiple times before calling it done. When you have a growth mindset about writing, bad first drafts are not proof of inadequacy anymore. They're just learning opportunities. Rejection is not about personal failure, it's just about getting that ever important feedback. And other writers' success is no longer evidence that you don't belong or there's no space for you in the writing community. It's inspiration, it's a view of what's going to happen to you in the future. And criticism is not an attack on your worth, it's valuable input. Look, no matter how long you've been writing, you're going to need feedback and critical eyes. You're going to be seeking out beta readers throughout your career. So this practice of seeking feedback, it does so much for you. It helps develop your writing right now, but it also develops your practical editorial eye and one side of your own writing business acumen. Okay, so how do you actually develop your writing abilities? Here are 5 concrete actions you can start taking today. First, write consistently, not perfectly. The farther I get along in my own writing career, the less I believe in crazy word count goals. But if you're just starting, they can help you develop the habit. It's a little like exercise. You just need to make writing part of your daily life. And sometimes, when you're starting out, small word count goals can help get you there. They don't have to be insane. 250 words is fine. You just want to get in that habit of interacting with your book in a meaningful way on a regular basis. Second, read like a writer. Don't just zip through books, analyze them. When you read a scene that moves you, stop and ask why. How did that author create that emotion? What specific techniques can you learn from your favorite authors and then apply to your own work? Third, seek feedback. Join writing groups, find beta readers, or work with an editor. The key is to listen without defending your work. Every piece of feedback is data that helps you improve. Fourth, study the craft deliberately. Read books on writing technique, take online courses, watch interviews with authors. Treat writing like any other skill that requires learning and practice. Fifth, embrace revision. Your first draft is not your final draft. Professional writers know that writing is rewriting. Learn to love the editing process because that's where good writing becomes great writing. Remember, every hour you spend practicing is an hour. You're literally rewiring your brain to be better at this craft. Starting today, we're all going to think differently about our writing journeys. Instead of hating our work or wishing we were just magically in a different place, I want you to simply ask yourself, how can I improve today? What is one thing I can do to improve my work today? The whole journey of 1,000 steps, right? You're not going to compare your current work in progress to a finished, published novel. That person's first draft did not look like that book in your hand either. Instead, I want you to get in the habit of looking back on your own writing from 3 months ago or 6 months ago. Look for evidence of how much you've grown. We're also not going to wait for perfection. The perfect idea or the perfect time to write does not exist. Just start. That's really what I was trying to emphasize in my last video in this series. Just start. Start with anything. Start with a scene anywhere in your book. Learn to write in the midst of noisy houses or surrounded by family or with a full time job that needs your attention. You need to incorporate writing into a busy, messy life, not hope for your life to just magically get uncluttered and easy and give you plenty of time to write. That is never going to happen. Remember, the writers you admire did not succeed because they were given a gift. They succeeded because they chose to keep writing when it was hard, to keep learning when they felt stuck, and to keep improving when their work wasn't good enough yet. You have access to all the same tools they used: practice, persistence, the willingness to learn. Do not let the myth of talent make you think you're less than you are. If you didn't like that first scene you wrote, so what? Write another. Write another after that. Every one will be better than the last. You've got this. I absolutely believe that all writers get where they want to be eventually. The only ones who don't are the ones who give up. Don't give up. If this video helped shift your perspective, hit that like button and let me know in the comments what limiting belief about your own writing you are ready to let go of. If you want more practical writing advice like this, go ahead and subscribe. If you need more guidance on crafting solid scenes, you can watch or rewatch the first video in this series. I'm also posting a link in this video's description and comments to my feels method. It's a printable download. You can keep it next to your computer to reference anytime you feel stuck. Remember, the only difference between a writer and someone who wants to write is that the writer keeps writing. I'll see you in the next video. Now go write something.